life in with the jail. I've been trying to stay alive for a reason. Devil in my mind trying to kill me. I say, teach me, God, please don't leave me. I'ma make it big, mama, you gon' see the TV. I'ma make it big, you gon' see your son rolling. Remember high school, we was around, it was stolen. You said I was chosen. You just wrap your arms around me and start controlling. Still don't know my purpose in my life, but he gon' show me. I was really down, I was bad, I was stuck. Till I get my life and now he making sure I'm up.
But I thank God for the sunshine. I've been down too long to stay. Yeah, told the clouds to go away. Yeah, think I found a better way. Too up, you can't bring me down. Look how high I'm sitting now. Even when I fall, I never see the ground. Yeah, juiced up, had to get the crown. Told them you could do the count. Add it up and break it down if you want. Yeah, yeah, I've been down too long to stay. Yeah, had to find a better way. Yeah, I've been down too long to stay. Yeah, had to find a better way. They always ask me how he made a way. I never quit, I wanted to. A couple times I wanted to. The sun is just a honeymoon. I'm trying to see what summer do. But I hate to see you worship God and get the money too. Now looking back at 2020 got me messed up. I'll be honest, how that pressure had me pressed up. But it's summertime shining. I know if it's for me, it's gonna come in perfect timing. I know it's some people from my past wanna fight me. Gave my life to Jesus, don't you ever think you afraid me? Devil always trying to throw a curve, I told him straight. 3 been losing, it but fighting. All the darkness in the world can't ever cover up my light, G. Hold on, that's it.
Edge life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head. Welcome to the edge life.
Hey, and welcome. We are back. We are back once again. Edge Life, it is going on, man. It's popping. We're super excited to be here because we missed y'all.
We did, and it's not a comeback. We just back.
We just back, right?
Yeah.
It ain't a comeback, you know. Don't call it a comeback.
We've
been here for years. Period. That's all you need to know. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
We sold a camera.
We did sell a camera. We did sell a camera.
Got a new one, and we just got it.
Yep.
So here we are,
Yep.
and
Yep. We actually we made an upgrade, you all. We made
did.
an upgrade.
For you.
We've been
Upgraded your podcast experience. Well, your viewing.
Your viewing
vlog
experience. Your viewing
of the
experience.
podcast.
Literally, and for those of you who do not know, cameras are like a big deal. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have the right tools and accessories to make sure that
we
stuff
got
that
the
we do.
right stuff, baby.
That's New Kids on the Block, circa what, 1988? 1988.
I was
know-
not a New Kids fan like that.
But I know the dance. So does that mean that I was a New Kids fan if I know the dance to New Kids on the Block?
NKOTB.
NKOTB. Oh, the right stuff. You got the right stuff, baby. Love the way you turn me on. Is it weird that I know that? Like, is that okay? Because I grew up, and New Kids were kind of like a big deal. But anyway, let me finish the thought. So the camera, you got to have the right camera. You got to have the right tools. So we did upgrade. We were Canon people, and that's literally like Canon is a big deal, and we like Canon, and we were with the M50 family, y'all. So literally that meant that we loved M50, and we did all things M50 and all that good stuff. But Sony has come out with a new camera.
Yeah.
The ZV, or SV, really, that's how we say it, but in all the other countries, they said the ZV E10, and that is what we have upgraded
He's watched
to.
way too many YouTube videos with this camera.
I've watched
he did
a couple.
his research,
I did.
I learned through osmosis.
Yes.
While I was attempting to sleep. So if you see us adjusting around and whatnot, that's because we're still trying to get used to.
We're still trying to get the new
camera
setup together.
and the kind of new setup. When you have a new camera, there's lots of things that have to be adjusted.
They're all kind of little things.
We inhaled some salad and broccoli. So y'all let us know, because I'm pretty sure I had some stuff in my teeth.
I didn't
so
see
if you
it.
See me?
I didn't see it because if I saw it, I'll sure enough would
it's
have
okay.
let you know.
I'm cool with that. You know, transparency is not an issue for me. Well, it might be an issue for other people.
Yeah, but hey, this
not
is
for
the
us.
edge life.
It
So
is the edge life.
when
so,
you jump
know,
on
you get
here,
broccoli in your teeth.
yeah,
You get broccoli in your teeth.
it's part of it.
If you're
It's
just
part of it.
listening, you hear about it. If you're watching it, you get to see it too.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this on podcast, come back, check it out. You know, everywhere we're on social media.
Everywhere where podcasts are, man. I mean,
Yeah,
we're on
YouTube.
we on the YouTuber, we on the Facebooker, we on what else we on? We on the Restreamer, we on the
Yeah.
a little bit of everything. So make sure you always tune in. We do our best to be here on Sundays at 8 p.m. But
Yes.
make sure you check us out because we might be doing some surprise things and pop up things. So just make sure you are in and about. Hey, do me a favor also, if you have not shared this out, go ahead and share this out. There may be somebody who might need something today, and they might find this enjoyable. They may find something good that some
might
good
find
stuff.
it humorous.
Yeah, that all of that stuff. So please make sure you go ahead and you share this out with your friends, family, colleagues, constituents, and all of them people.
All that
It's pretty
jazz.
simple. All you got to do is hit that little share button and share it on out. Share it on out. We really, really appreciate it. So, baby. So, well, first of all, I guess we do need to get an update, right? Because you got some things going on in life right now, right? Keeping you a little busy.
I do.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about it. Share with the people what is going on.
Well, when the Lord tells you to do things,
Yeah.
if you're like me, you do them. No, it's all good. So, when I first started college,
Yep.
I kind of had, this idea in my mind that I might be interested in being a counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And slowly but surely, in my youthful ways, in trying to, apply a geometric
Is it
principles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Geometry principles.
All I know is English, but go ahead.
Not
Geometric.
geology, but
there you go.
geometric
There you go.
principles.
Uh-huh.
I chose, point A to point B, the
Right.
path de least resistance.
Yes.
Even in French. See
yes.
that?
It did sound good.
And so I didn't pursue it at that time. And so I just, working in mental health now, I really see the huge need
Mm-hmm.
and the lack. It's like 1 to 800, I think is what it was. I read in my book.
Mm.
1 to 800 mental health care professionals for one mental health care professional for every 800 people in the United States of America
Wow.
who need mental health care.
Right. So there's
So
a
not
huge
just
need.
people in general,
Right.
but people who
Right.
are in need. So
Right.
there's no way that any one person can see 800 people.
That's right.
So there are not enough mental health care professionals in the field. So I just feeling that unction and that urge really felt like I've been praying about it and really felt like I heard the Lord, and I just immediately enacted it. And so I am now a Liberty University student.
Hey. Liberty University. Shout out to Liberty.
Yeah. So I had been in a master's program previously for
Yep.
public administration. So
Yep.
now I'm in a master's program for clinical mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be sitting for my licensure as a licensed professional counselor. And the way I figure it out, about 2.5 years.
2.5 years. We're going to clap for 2.5 years. 2.5 years. And 2.5 years cannot come quick enough because I ain't seen you, I feel like. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
okay, so life
I ain't seen
lesson
you.
learned. So
Yeah.
let me just, if you're a wife, mom, grandma, friend,
Mm-hmm.
daughter,
Mm-hmm.
sister,
All those. Uh-huh.
employee, full-time, all these things full-time.
Right.
Probably not a great idea to take all the classes they'll allow you to take,
Yes, I would agree with that.
or that your financial aid can afford.
I would agree with that also. I would
So
agree with that
just
also.
saying, probably 9 hours of master's level classes in one subterm, 8 weeks,
Yeah.
by the way. So they're accelerated a
Yeah.
little bit.
Which means if you can't
A
do
lot
do
of
the math,
reading.
right? That's a whole bunch of reading. A whole bunch
Oh
of
my
reading.
God.
Oh
my God.
literally last
did
night,
not-
y'all. Look, last night Like, I didn't know where she went. I was like, where is my wife? Like, she like text messages me. She's like, hey, I'm downstairs in my office.
In the lab.
Working, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. No problem. Hey, you be down there, do what you do. Go ahead and get your work on. Yeah, it was like, what time did you get done last night? What time did you come to the room?
It was a little bit after midnight. So, and I did not procrastinate. So here's the thing, y'all. It's a good thing because I had already started on my benchmark paper.
Yes.
I had to write about values-based conflict, by the way. So that's just analyzing all the biases, beliefs that I have that I potentially could impose on a counselor or on a client as a counselor, which, that's a long topic of discussion. It's a good one.
Right.
But had already started on that, had already started all the reading, had done the discussions already. So I did not procrastinate. And nonetheless, I spent 12 hours in the lab today.
Yeah.
So I did church online.
It gets better. It gets better because
yesterday I took a little tiny hiatus because a child is starting school.
Right.
And yes, Kristen. So Kristen she is also in Liberty University.
Go, Kristen.
In a doctoral program.
Go, Kristen.
So we're going to be calling her Dr. Lee.
Hey.
Absolutely. So she's inspired me and been encouraging me. She's a part of the prayer team as well. But yeah, I feel very confident that I can do it. It's just the amount with all the other things that I have to do. It literally has been a lot. And just say, so I probably spent a good 8 hours at least yesterday.
Yeah, it was at least 8 hours. It was at least 8 hours. It was at least 8 hours.
And then 12 today.
But again,
20 hours in the last 2 days.
All in all, though, I personally know that is what you enjoy doing. You're passionate about it, and me, the children, all that good stuff. We're rooting you on.
Yes, and you all have been so supportive. And I think that's so really important. Philip has always supported anything that I have felt called to do. If he didn't feel like I was called to do it, I would truly believe that, he would jump in and he would say so. But he's just been very, very supportive and understanding. And honestly, like this time, I feel so much more balanced.
Yeah.
I was taking one class, maybe two before.
Yeah.
I think one, a subterm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking 3. And I feel so much more balanced, literally, this time. So I don't feel like the coursework is too difficult. And the other thing is just, like, I have a whole different perspective. Like,
Right.
I'm the kind of person that, before now, I expect 100 on everything.
Yes, she does.
And I actually found myself having a discussion with a professor that I didn't feel like my 69 points out of 80 points were.
It wasn't good enough.
Merited.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
But, here's to doing better next time.
Hey, amen. One thing, if y'all don't know, my wife is a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
Recovering perfectionist. So, working on papers and things like that, like she can't get a B, you know what I'm saying? Like in her mind, it's like A or bust. So, if she has a paper and it says, 350 words, she's given a good 1,500.
So there's no such thing in a master's class. You might have a discussion. That's a reply.
Okay. So
the discussion, y'all.
Talk about it.
Yeah, he's knocking me on the discussion.
Talk about it.
So, okay. So here's the thing. So if you give me 2 very complex concepts.
Okay.
And you ask me to discuss them appropriately.
Yes. And then you give me a suggested amount of words?
Yeah, like 400 to 500.
Okay.
So let's just say.
I'm the professor, and I'm giving you a suggested amount of words. I'm saying, hey, listen,
minimum.
You should be able to do this in somewhere around 400 to 500 words.
Is it a minimum?
Does it say minimum?
It says a minimum of 400 to 500 words. It says a minimum.
How many did you do?
1,941.
Come on, y'all.
On the last one.
Come on, y'all.
So.
Come on, y'all.
But it was a discussion of 2 disorders. Okay. And then it was the summarization and your thoughts about the impact of prayer on the cognition of the aging.
Let me ask you.
Now, you tell me, can you answer either one of those?
Look.
Either one.
If the professor said 400 to 500 words, I'm giving you a good, 403. You know what I'm saying? Like I did pick that from like. Totally
there were
randomly.
a couple of people that did that, and
Yeah.
I just looked at theirs and I was like,
Yeah.
you didn't answer the question.
Hey, I'm trying to do what the professor has asked me to do, so I'm gonna give him 403. Nothing more, nothing less. But again, that's the difference in us, right?
There's no way to appropriately answer the question.
I would be trying to land the plane on the paper. I would sure enough be trying to land the plane on the paper,
Furthermore, it's a discussion.
and I would be discussing it for 403.
There's just no way. So this week, y'all. So this is new because I haven't been in a master's program in a while. We're doing a vlog discussion.
Okay.
So I have 5 minutes. That I can land.
You better land the plane. See, why can you land the plane on the 5-minute vlog, but you can't land the plane on the 400 to 500 page thing?
Because I'm more well spoken than I am well written.
Well,
I get wordy. No, actually, I took out the wordiness out because
man.
I also, in former lives, have been the public information officer.
True
You
indeed.
certainly do
True
not
indeed.
turn in too much to the newspaper because they're gonna look at that and be like,
Exactly.
So I do social media.
Got, babe, but you
I
gotta
do marketing.
You
I
gotta
know
start using the 5 B's, and we know what the 5
be
B's are.
brief, brother. Be brief.
That's it. You gotta be brief.
Because I spent 12 hours.
Be brief.
My brain is mush.
Be brief. Be
Hey,
brief.
but I am figuring out.
You figuring it
So
out?
the one thing that you have to do, y'all, don't work harder, work smarter. Okay. So now after 2 weeks,
Hold on.
says the girl who writes
There we
1,900
go.
words for a
There we go.
400 word minimum post.
You gotta
So
get
if
it right.
I'm going to insist on doing that, then I have to find other ways to be more efficient.
Okay.
My efficacy can go up
Okay. I'm
by
not mad.
by looking at certain patterns
Mhm.
in certain things
Okay.
with the class.
Okay.
Like, for example, if you're giving 2 attempts at a quiz
Mm-hmm.
and you have an hour to take a 20 question quiz,
Mm-hmm.
and typically only 1 or 2 of those is changed in the second attempt and the highest grade counts, it's not an average of the 2. You don't spend as much time with that content. I'm just saying.
True indeed. Listen, all I'm gonna say is this.
I'm smart.
She is super smart. She is super smart. But I know that
Just
she's gonna do super awesome in this course, and she's gonna be an awesome counselor. And I know me and the children, everybody, we're super excited about watching you go down this path, because it is a good thing. Now you might be away from us for a while in the little labby lab thing
For a while.
but hey, it's gonna go quick. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
gonna
it's
go
8
quick.
weeks at a time,
Yep.
Because of financial aid and financial limitations, unless somebody wants to give me $1,900.
Come on,
Shameless
somebody.
plug.
Come on, somebody. Come on.
I'm only going to be able to take 4 classes
That might be all you might need to take.
in like the normal traditional
Right, right.
semester.
Right.
So going forward, it'll be like 2 in each subterm. So
Right.
2 per 8 weeks. Which obviously if you're doing it in 8 weeks, you're reading 2 chapters and not 1 for each week's worth of work.
Mhm,
So yeah.
mhm. There you go, my sister Shantae and
Don't work
Shantavia.
harder, work smarter.
Don't
God
work
gave us
harder.
a brain to
Come on.
to use it and
Come
to
on.
analyze and to figure things out. I think the funny thing has been,
Mhm.
okay, so 2 of our children are back in school. So I get a call from one that says, "Hey mom, I'm at work. I need you to do me a favor." So okay. I can't do it while I'm at work. I'm on my phone. It's for school. So okay. So this is Trey. He gives me the login for his account. So I can see all his grades now, by the way.
Mm.
Also, that might have been a plot to have me actually do some of his 400-word discussions. I'm not falling for that.
He might.
I know how he works. He's a smart kid. But so he asked me if I can complete his grad application. So he is applying for graduation.
Yeah.
Yes, so I know
We will
as
have
a
an official
student
graduate.
athlete,
Yeah.
it's been a long process,
Yep.
For him, having played on scholarship 2 different sports
Yep.
at 2 different schools.
Yep.
It's been a little bit of a journey, having a bit of a hiatus in between, but
Yep. But we're
he'll be
making it.
graduating in spring,
And
y'all.
I'm excited about it. I actually talked to him yesterday. I went over to to his store.
Yes.
Shout out to the Early Way
Shameless
24/7, shameless plug, the baddest
Way.
shoe boutique in Rome, Georgia.
Shoe
So
boutique.
check it on out. But I went over to the store, and he was actually really, really excited talking about
Yeah.
graduation, right? Like I'm looking at my son, and I'm like, man, we're talking
That's
about.
not normal for him.
No, but we're talking about graduation. I'm like, all right, go ahead on. So it's good. It's
And
good.
he had also mentioned that he had already pulled some material for the LSAT,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first time, honestly, Trey was always a very conscientious little young man.
Right,
And when
right.
I say little, I mean like the pre-middle school. Something happened in middle school, maybe hormones, not
Mhm.
really sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he did say that he really is very interested in being a lawyer. Has actually
know.
already had a discussion
Yes.
with some people who have gone that route, taken the
Yes.
LSAT, not passed, or said, hey, connect with my dad, he'll help you
Yes.
out. So like taking it serious, and that's never really been something. Trey has taken
Right.
sports very seriously. He takes his personal relationships very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as really deciding on a career, other than I want to go to college, I've never had that conversation.
Yeah,
with him.
but it's super interesting because Trey is super unique in that he loves doing things like honestly, I don't necessarily like doing this, but he loves reading history and understanding the behind the scenes of so and so.
yes.
So he'll read a whole, I don't know what they're even called, but the whole paper to explain all it, because he tries to explain that stuff to me, and then it's super.
Like a case.
Yeah, I'm sitting there talking to Trey sometimes. I'm like, I have no idea what he's talking about, but I'm like, because I got to give him that because he is super interested in that kind of stuff. Also, this is the child who is super argumentative and will argue about just about anything. So he knows how to do. No, he's good at that. He's very good at that. He's super strong-willed and will be able to
He's
argue
not
his
the
point.
strongest willed.
No, he's not the strongest willed, but
He is
can.
the most able.
Yes,
to
he can
argue a point.
he can articulate
There
a
it
point.
is. He is very
let's say that.
articulate.
Yes.
The other
yes.
ones just kind of muscle and bully their way into doing what they want
Yes,
to do.
yes. He can articulate a point.
They intimidate us with the intimidation factor, y'all. We scared. Don't tell them. No, we're not scared. I ain't scared. I ain't
That's
never
right.
scared.
That's right. But he does a great job in articulating a point. It will be very succinct. Right?
yeah.
He does a great. And I'm like, I've always looked at him like, son, that's something that you need to do. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So so even
He's a good writer.
he's a very good writer.
Compared, I think, to some of the other writing that I've read.
Yeah.
He's a good writer for
Yep.
sure. He doesn't like it per se.
But
I don't know too many people
he's
who
good
do.
at it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if he gives himself the time.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it's literally something that he doesn't necessarily have to work hard at being good at because he enjoys it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
when you find things that you enjoy, naturally many times you're just better at those things because you enjoy them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he likes doing stuff like that. And I think he does like being right also. So
He definitely
is
likes
going to
being
work
right. So
to
he's
prove
gonna.
his point.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
he'll work to to be correct.
Yep.
And so he is applying for that, his graduation application, so he can graduate in the
Yes,
spring. And
yes.
then, I've got that going on, and then I get a text message from a distraught
Oh Lord.
college freshman
Yeah.
talking about, I don't know, I understand a word this guy is saying.
Yeah.
So it's in
yeah.
history. So I'm like, call your brother.
Right. Exactly.
Just
exactly.
explaining. I said, sometimes these things are in Old English,
Mhm.
and the language is outdated. Da 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 da. So look for the words that you don't understand.
Right. Right.
Break it down from the most simple point and go from there. I said, furthermore, we have this thing called Google.
That's right.
Google someone else who's written a summary, and certainly don't copy them, but
Right.
their insight might allow
Might
you to
spark you.
begin to
Absolutely.
understand. So she had to do an analysis.
Yeah.
She had to do some comparing and contrasting
Yes.
of two different views of liberty. And she was freaking out. I said, look, I'm doing my own work because remember, I didn't procrastinate.
Right.
That was, I guess, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm happy to help you, but what I'm going to do is give you some advice for you to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can fish for you.
Right.
or I can teach you to fish, which is going to be more
The
valuable.
teaching is
going
much
forward.
better. Yes.
So she got it done to the best of her ability. It was about a page short. She needed my 1,941 words. I could have lent her 1,000 and still been
yes,
good.
Yes. Yes.
You know, that's about one page is about 500 words.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, so she did her best, and she, who's calling?
I don't know.
Oh, that's tight.
Oh.
She did her best
Mm-hmm.
to complete the paper, and then she doesn't have a printer, so she was gonna have to use the printer. This college
school.
life,
Yeah.
y'all. So
Yeah.
she got freshman 101 like back to back. Went down to the printer earlier, and sure enough, couldn't get the printer to work. Class was at 8 a.m. Got up at 7:25. That was early. Trying to figure out how that was early. But anyways, so she couldn't get the printer to work, and nobody there knew how to get it to work. So she was rushing to class so she wouldn't be late to class.
Right.
She had back-to-back classes. This is the last day on campus
Yes.
until the holiday break. And the professor, she grabbed the professor. She called me while she was leaving
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, this is what's going on. And I said, well, after class, just stop him. Well, he has office hours when I'm in class. I said, just pull him to the side afterwards.
Right.
It's okay for you to be a little bit late to the next class
Right.
so that you get to turn this paper in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he had told her to email him
Right.
and just attach the paper.
Yep.
And then to bring him the copy of it later.
Yep.
Which would have been cool. But freshman 101, she misspelled
The email address.
the professor's last name.
Lord. Lord.
Did not realize it until she was already like halfway into the next class.
Wow.
So, you know, that's like 30 minutes in. So she's like, oh my God, he's going to think that I'm typing the paper, blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
So she realizes it, takes a screenshot of the bounced email, which I told her going forward the bounced email
Right.
with the appropriate email address, which she said how embarrassing that is that I
Yeah.
spelled his name wrong. But anyways, sends it anyways. Gets done with all of her classes. This is the afternoon. Goes back to the dorm. Finds a guy who's like, oh yeah, this printer never works in the dorm room. He's the RA. Never works in here. So why do they have it? I mean, I'm wondering, you know, is this for them to learn this freshman 101?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he says, email me your paper.
Uh-huh.
I'll send it to my printer in my room.
Yeah.
He prints the paper. She gets the paper. She's still on the phone FaceTime with me, and she's walking to find this professor's office, which, by the way, freshman 101, she thinks his office is in a classroom.
Oh, she learned it.
She's like, well,
it.
what if he has a class in there? I'm like, honey, they have offices. He may have a cubicle. There could be other professors. Oh, my God. But there is no
man,
class.
It's too funny.
I said he probably has a box that says late
Yeah.
papers.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're used to this sort of thing. I was like, no worries.
Yeah.
So as she's walking
She
across
has,
campus.
she has you on the phone with her.
Yes.
Yes.
No, not just that. She looks down at the paper. There's no heading of any sort. I said, well, you're just kicking yourself in the butt all over the place.
Hey.
She's like, well, he'll just have to take my handwriting or my name being handwritten on the top of this. I said, no, you'll just have to take that because
you're gonna
take that.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
saying you're a page short and you ain't got no identifying features on your paper about what class it is, what your name is. I said, honey, there's a certain way to head a paper.
That's right.
Well, she got it turned in.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all that matters
came
sometimes.
home. So,
That's all that matters.
and literally, I think slept
Yeah.
almost all of Friday.
She'll
Saturday
she'll
because
do-
of freshman
She'll
101.
deal with the next week. She'll deal with the next
Oh,
week,
yes.
and she'll climb out.
Oh, yes. So we have all these things going on
Yes.
associated with school,
Yes.
especially colleges. So
Yep.
there's,
a lot going on.
yeah, definitely a lot going on.
So listen, let me shift gears here. So I got a question. I'm gonna
Okay.
pose this question. Today I was having a conversation with Cam, one of the guys at church, right?
Shameless plug, Crossover Church
shameless
ATL.
plug,
Whoop,
right?
whoop.
And Cam and I were having a conversation today about this thing called the prosperity gospel. The prosperity gospel.
Name it, claim it.
Well, name it, claim it, and specifically about just talking about money, right? Talking about money, specifically in the church, right? And he wasn't really going one way or the other, but we're having a conversation. There are some pastors who that almost seems like it's their specialty, right? It's the area in which they're anointed in, right? They talk about this a lot. The Creflo Dollars of the world, the Kenneth Copelands of the world, the Jesse Duplanises of the world. They're people who that's what they do. And now as we're having the conversation, I shared with him. I went to a conference several years back. It was Spirit and Truth conference with Bishop Eddie Long, and they had matter of fact, it was Creflo Dollar. He was there. And Creflo Dollar was sharing with the group, and it was actually super interesting because, honestly, I expected him to come in and really drop a, prosperity message, and I was ready for it. I was like, come on in, let's do this. This is Creflo Dollar. I was expecting it.
Bring it.
Honestly, 20-second timeout. When I first moved to Atlanta was the first time I'd ever really been introduced to Creflo Dollar, and I thought it was a joke. Like I was like, surely I'd never heard of a person with the last name Dollar, and I'm like, and you're a pastor, like
that is something.
Like, come on, man, really,
that's your stage name.
Exactly. It's a made up name. It's a made up name. But anyways, at the conference, he actually talked about that, and he talked about even growing up how he was like, God, you must be joking. My last name is Dollar. Like, really, that's how we're gonna do it. But he mentioned this, and I thought it was really interesting. He says, prosperity is one piece of the pie. And as he was talking about the different, so he said the prosperity gospel is just one piece of the pie, right? He said there are other things that we need to know and understand as believers specifically, but that is one piece. Now, with that one piece, he is, and as he was sharing with us, he's like, what, I've been gifted and anointed to speak about that, right? But so that's a piece of what I speak about. Now, I talk about other things, but that is the one piece that I'm really gifted to speak about, right? So as we're sharing, we got into not I mean, it wasn't heated or anything, but we just got into a conversation about like prosperity, the prosperity gospel, its place within the body of Christ. Should we even be talking about finances and money and resources and things like that? And the question that I posed, I said, or are we just supposed to be broke? You know what I'm saying? Like, are we just supposed to just talk about being broke all the time? Like, are we still coming up on the rough side of the mountain? Like, where is the balance here? And I will just go ahead and say this, shameless plug. Creflo Dollar, as he spoke about that pie, he did mention and say there has to be a balance. So I want to get that out there because I do agree with him. But as the conversation went forward, we're talking about like where are we supposed to, how are we supposed to do this as believers? Are we supposed to just be like, I'm broke, busted, and disgusted, or I'm coming up on the rough side of the mountain, and I don't. I knew you was gonna sing it. I knew you was gonna sing it.
Sorry,
Right?
that was better than the other song I was thinking. I ain't saying he a broke.
right. But so I guess the question, that we were posing and we were just kind of wrestling with is, what does that look like in 2021? Are we as believers, are we, gonna be super modest and, talk about, not having anything and taking everything that we have and literally, giving it to the poor and to the widows, and you know what I'm saying? Like, is that the route to go? Or is there a place for, people who are believers in Christ to actually have and acquire wealth? Especially in the culture, especially, the entrepreneurial culture that we're in, where everybody seems to be running after and chasing wealth and generational wealth. So I just wanted to pose that. I know we don't have a whole long time tonight, but I wanted to just kind of talk a little bit about that and unpack it. And, we may not come to a quote unquote answer, but I at least wanted to start unpacking that. Like, where do we as believers stand as it relates to wealth, as it relates to finances and money? Good question, huh?
Well, it's a concept.
Yeah.
And I think it goes beyond just like, there's not just one question to pose, and there's a myriad of questions that could be asked as associated with that. And I would think, I would say, first of all, to just, your summary, your abstract. But you did a very good job. That was about 500 words. I would say that it can't be different today than it was yesterday, because the kingdom of God is the same today.
Yes, yesterday and forevermore, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So we can't change our approach just because it's 2021. Just because the times look different, etc. And I'm certain, I know without a shadow of a doubt, that God never leaves us without the resources that we need to carry forth our purpose.
Okay.
So I think for some of us, our purpose is intended to generate wealth for the kingdom.
Okay.
And part of that is our family, our generations as well. And he does tell us, biblically speaking, that our generations will be blessed.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the Abrahamic covenant.
Right.
And if I look at Moses, just thinking about from an extent of resources.
He had it now. He had it.
Yeah, I mean, what he lacked in other areas, God gave him something else too. In Moses' weakness, God's strength was made perfect.
Right.
And I even look at one of the things that I always try to remind people is that what's in your hand.
That's good. That's good.
And I think sometimes we don't utilize what's in our hands enough. And so that leaves us in a state of not enough. Or just enough.
Wow.
When we don't realize what we have.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was ever God's intention for us. There wouldn't have been a promised land for his people if he had intended for them to just stay in the wilderness.
Right.
And so those are idealized kind of concepts, that was a real thing that happened, but now it's kind of like a spiritual concept, so to speak, or construct. So if he had intended for them to stay in the wilderness, he never would have promised a promised land.
Yeah.
So,
and I like what you're saying, and honestly, I've never really thought about it in this frame, but the wilderness representing lack, right? The wilderness representing bondage, the wilderness representing, the oppression, right?
The place between oppression and promise.
Yes.
Right. And so that's middle class America.
The
enemy kind of has us
stuck there.
Yeah. And we're content with that.
Yeah. And you just mentioned something, we're content there. And let's just even take this a step further, just from a believers and a body of Christ perspective. Is that really, is it okay to be good enough? You know what I'm saying? Is it okay to be just good? You know what I'm saying? Because, I think back even for us and our family, way back 2011 or so, as we're pastoring the church, the Lord really pressed me on a question. And the question that the Lord pressed on me, he says, would you be willing to give up good for great? I couldn't shake this question. And mind you, during that time frame, we were pastoring a church, a growing church. People were being saved, filled with the Holy Spirit, the whole 9 yards. I mean, literally, things were going good.
Right. It was prospering.
It was prospering. You know what I'm saying?
It was prospering and prosperous.
Yes. So. But God still posed that question: would you be willing to give up what you perceive as good for great? And the way that I interpreted that, I said, okay, well, this is good what I see, but there's something that's better. And even just going back to that situation and thinking about that, it's like, wow, does that happen even now in 2021 with us as believers? Does it happen to where we settle?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, we could have settled for the good, and there would have been nothing wrong with it. Nobody would have checked us on it.
Yeah.
Nobody would have said anything. But again, I was stuck in, but you said that there's more, right? You said that there's something greater for us to go after. You know what I'm saying? And it's not even something for us to attain, but there's something different on the other side. There is a land flowing with milk and honey. You know what I'm saying? Now, do we want to stay where we are, or do we want to go for the great? Do we want to go for the promise? And for me, on the inside, I couldn't sit in that space of just okay or just enough.
Yeah. I think herein lies the issue, and I know we just have a few minutes to kind of wrap up. I think because we do have societally, culturally, we have a contentment with good, that it keeps us stuck there because it is acceptable.
Good. Woo!
It's acceptable.
Yes.
Good is acceptable. Great
Yes.
is not required.
Right.
Good is sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
And furthermore, when you go back and you look at that whole, as we're using the wilderness experience and the journey to the promised land, kind of as an analogy, the problem with the transference from a state of good to a state of great requires you to go into a place that you're unfamiliar with.
Yes.
And with the unfamiliarities of greatness come fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it.
And we don't look at, many times the fear begins to make us internalize and be focused on not what we will gain, but what we might potentially lose.
Wow.
And so what that does is it takes our eyes off of God and what he's able to do, and we begin to look at what we can do.
What we can do. Yeah.
And so we stay in good because we can keep ourselves in good.
Did y'all hear that right
We
there?
don't
Hold on.
move to great
Yeah.
because we doubt perhaps that
Woo.
God can sustain
Woo.
the greatness.
So using this analogy, could it be that many of us, and I'm talking about believers now, right? I'm talking about those of us who ascribe to be believers
I'm
in
talking
Christ,
about
right?
believers too, y'all.
Could it be that there is so much more that he really desires to give us?
Absolutely.
But we are content in the place of good because of the fear, right? Because of I don't know what's on the other side. Because I'm too afraid to take that step, right? Could it be that fear of what's on the other side is keeping us in this place of contentment?
Yeah, I think we end up going from, and I want to take it like a step further. We end up going from a place of contentment, like, okay, this is a season, we're here, and then we become complacent.
So contentment to complacency.
Yeah, and so we just become complacent.
Wow.
And that's what causes us to settle. There are some of us who we experience the contentment, and we're content in the season, but we know there's the something more, like you were talking about. Like, I know there's the something more. And the something more always requires
Something more.
something more
That's right.
from you.
That's right.
And it's usually not addition, but subtraction.
Woo. Yeah. Let's talk about that.
Just like when they went from oppression into the wilderness.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, they were moving to greatness.
Right.
And it seems like that would be addition, but they really had to leave some things behind.
Wow.
Now, it's all about perception.
Right.
So you're leaving the oppression behind,
Right.
but you're also leaving, valuables
Right.
and your
Right.
your home and stability and all those sorts of things. Do you have the eyes to see that God can keep you in that next stage? And that's the thing that keeps you afraid, because you don't know what's next. And if I can't sustain it, I'm afraid to move.
If you can't sustain it,
And I'm talking about believers, y'all. Like, we
we're
really
afraid
have
to move.
we have to really examine ourselves.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ability to sustain it, do you have fear associated with it?
And I'm gonna tell you what, this is a good conversation, and what I want to do.
Yeah, we need to bring this back.
Let's put a pin in a
Yeah,
little
because I'm gonna do
period
some research
right here. I'm sure you were gonna do some research this week, right? And come
Well, I
with
don't know.
47-page paper ready for us. But let's continue this conversation next
do
week,
that.
because money in the church, prosperity in the church, we need to talk about this a little bit, y'all. Hold on. Look.
The ugly part of the process.
Especially during the ugly part of the process.
Yeah, that manna
Woo!
process.
Woo! Hold on.
Everything looking pretty bad in the manna process.
Amen. We have to go from good to great and go through the wilderness and be tempted and triumph, just as our Father Jesus did. Come on. That's what I'm talking
great.
about. That's what I'm
So
talking
looking
about.
at Jesus' wilderness experience.
Yeah.
And again, that was a matter of, he was testing himself. Can I sustain the weight of God's glory?
And there are 3 things that he was tempted with, and we're going to talk about those 3 things next
And
time
he
too.
literally subjected himself
Woo!
to those temptations
good.
to
This
make
is good.
sure that he could sustain the weight of God's
This
glory.
is good.
And that's where the true greatness lies.
If you can sustain the weight of God's glory.
And his glory is the fullness thereof that he wants for you, your purpose,
This is
his
good.
plan.
This is good. This is good. Well, listen to us, y'all. Next week, we are going to continue down this road talking about prosperity and the gospel. Prosperity in the kingdom. Where does it land? Are we good? Or is there more? Is there more out there? Should we chase some more? So we're going to talk about all of those things, and we want y'all to be ready and prepared. So listen, tell your friends, tell your mama names that they need to tune in to the Edge Live 7 podcast on next week, because we gonna go there. We gonna go there.
It's good.
It is good. It is good. It is.
Wasn't that Jimmy Dean commercial?
Jimmy Dean. I remember. It's good. It's good. It's good.
I want some sausage now.
Y'all, we super appreciate you all, man.
Yes, we love y'all.
Make sure you share this out with
Share
somebody, and you invite somebody. We'll be here next week, 8 p.m. Same place you can find us, but it's time, and it's about to go down, man. Edge Life.
Edge Life.
We'll talk to y'all next week, man. Peace.
Edge life, you're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life. Oh, oh, gotta get it in your head, baby. Welcome to the edge life. You're too close to the ledge. We gon' push you forward a few steps ahead. It's that edge life.